There we are. And so, there we go. All right. Hmm. All right. So, welcome to the stream. This is again for the YouTube watchers, if there are indeed any such thing. Let's do that. I think we can get rid of that. Sorry, just cleaning up my open windows and things. What do I open? I don't need open. So close that. Yeah. And I'm still very congested. Coffee will help. Coffee always helps. As you can hear from the gravel in my voice, I've only just gotten up. It is... Well, it's morning, but it's barely morning. I was up fairly late last night. Again, finishing some voice work for a client. I can't help but think that I'm forgetting something. Lord. And yeah. Now, this will answer a question that I had about my streaming schedule. 10 minutes in, usually somebody's in the chat. Nobody's here yet, so my suspicion is likely... Oh, hey, it's Chris. Hi. I was just saying nobody's here. I think my stats panel that shows me number of viewers and stuff is not very real-timey. I think that's true. Edelina. What's that? Edelina is probably a bot. And Chris isn't showing up in the stream. These panels are useless. I can't even. No, I don't know if you were there when I was talking about I sound Canadian today, extra Canadian. About my stream schedule. It's Saturday morning here. Hey, Esteban. Oh, I don't know that there's a lot more words since the last stream. The last stream, we were around here. This is, yeah, that's all of the new words since the last stream. Yes, I did. Of course I remember your name. There's only like 7 people that show up in the chat. I can keep track of 7 people. I was wondering about today's stream because it's in North America, Friday evening, and I figured people might have plans and be going out and stuff. Although, I'm not sure how much going out there is going on these days, but we're kind of locked down again here. We had a couple of detected cases in Hangzhou last week. 7 over the last 2 weeks. All sort of from the same source. And they locked everything down and tested hundreds of thousands of people and did all that stuff. But, bars and some bars and gyms and things are still closed down for the next little while anyway. We'll see what happens. But yeah, no going out for a lot of people here. But now I was curious as to who would arrive, who would be available and hanging out with us today on a Friday night, my Saturday morning, but let's see, actually. See if I can beat Chris to the punch. Okay. Ha. There we go, Esteban. We have a new Discord server. So we can chat whenever we want, not just when I happen to be live. Ha 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 ha. I win. Woohoo. I wanted to get at least one in, Chris. I think... No, you didn't. Haha. I think I might want to adjust. I don't know if that does anything. No, it doesn't, because I'm not on manual. I want to go lighter. No, not that much lighter. That's better. Okay. Sorry, just changing the exposure compensation on my camera. Yeah, we've got the Discord server is sort of, reader. It's called Readers and Writers. It's about talking about books and stories and, TV and movies and stuff too. We're not format elitists. But yeah, there's space for readers, space for writers. There's a book club. I hope we'll be able to get that off the ground and all read something together. Criticism corner, critique corner. That's what I called it. Anyone who's interested can get their own little channel in there and post excerpts of their work and get feedback from people. So, and probably the most important part is the suggestions channel, where hopefully people will make suggestions for stuff they'd like to see on the server, because I can think of a lot of stuff, but I can't think of all the stuff. And very much like this stream has turned into, I'd like to see that Discord server be very much a community rather than a one-man show. So, Rush 2112. I was about to start singing it, but I probably shouldn't. Something about your mind is not for rent. You can blame the government. No reason. I'm guessing, Esteban, it was you who was the big Rush fan, right? If that is you there, yeah, exactly. Make sure that you pop into the roles channel and pick a couple of roles, pick something, one or all of the roles. That opens up different sections of the server. Uh-oh. We've broken the dam. I remember somebody was, although I couldn't have told you who a moment ago, and then I assume that was you just joining the server. I've got it up on my other screen here, so Rush 2112. Good album. Where are we here? There we go. So, I don't know if you noticed the title for today's stream. One way or the other, it doesn't even matter if I get anything done on this story. I'm going to have to shelve it for a month or so and work on something else for that time. I'd mentioned before I'd signed up to work with a professor of creative writing at Athabasca University on a specific project. And had I been thinking clearly at the time, I hadn't started the nano thing. I hadn't started working on this story much when I signed up for that. So I picked something else to work on there. It should be an interesting piece to work on. Very different feel to it, though. So I don't want to be jumping back and forth, working on both of those things at the same time, because the tone and the feel are very, very different. No, still no bathtub streams. Nor toilet streams. No. Oh, that sounds... No, well... Okay, so the problem with having a brain like mine, where it makes connections to not so random things, but it makes unusual connections that apparently most people wouldn't make. So I go from bathroom streams to thinking about what streams into, or toilet streams to what streams into the toilet, to don't cross the streams. Who are you going to call? And all of that in the blink of an eye. Yeah, that's not an image I want in my head. I'm going to drink some coffee. Yeah. No, what you see is what you get for the stream, I think. But we will be switching story, and I will be having to take the writing of said story a little bit more seriously than I have this one, because I'm on a deadline there. I've got someone else's time involved. So, I think I'm going to have to... I'm going to figure out some sort of a format for the stream where I keep the first part and the last part open for chatting and stuff, but I gotta maybe pull an hour, a solid hour of like, I'm not talking to you guys, talk amongst yourselves while I hammer out some words kind of thing. And I might go back to daily in that case because I really want to make sure I get some writing done. Oh no, I won't go back to daily, I don't think. I may write on off days though, which I haven't been doing. Well, as of last night. Oh, what do you stream? Esteban. Let me see. We could raid you. Or not raid you. What's it called? When you pop over to somebody else's stream. Are you streaming some sort of a football related game? Wow. I'm getting very slow connection on this. I haven't seen Bobicus for a while. I hope he's okay. I've just got a list of my people on the sidebar here as I'm trying to see what Esteban is streaming. I'm sorry for the throat clearing stuff. That's obnoxious, I know. Oh, I did finally find a hot beverage to drink in the afternoon that isn't coffee and isn't caffeinated, but still tastes pretty good. I was drinking tea into the later afternoon. So I bought this. I don't know if I showed you or not, but I bought this thermos tea thing. It's about 1.5 liters. So I guess 1.5 gallons. No, quarts. Sorry. Quart and a half, which I guess would be almost a half gallon. Anyway, it's a fairly large thermos with a little tea strainer insert that goes in the top. And normally I drink hot lemon water, but I was getting a bit bored of that. Just, sour water, basically. I don't put sugar in it. I did for a while, then I realized I was going through more sugar than I want to go through. So I stopped putting sugar in, and then it doesn't taste as good. So I started putting a little bit of tea in the tea strainer part of my beverage receptacle. But then I've been really not feeling sleepy until very late at night since I started doing that, and I figure it must be related to the tea. So I've been looking for something else to drink. I do hot beverages all day, every day. So, and when I'm doing voice work, when I'm recording in particular, I need something to whet the whistle. So that's where the lemon water comes in. But that was sort of not doing it for me anymore. Yeah, I actually have 1.5 gallons would be 6 liters. I don't have a 6-liter thermos. I do have a 3-liter thermos. I used to work as an actor here in China, and that's long days, really long days. So I would take my 3-liter thermos of coffee with me to set. This is mostly when we moved briefly for about 3 years. We moved to a small town called Dongyang. It's in the same province as Hangzhou, where I live now and where I lived before. So 17 years in Zhejiang. I was 5 years. That would have been 2010. So I was 6 years in Hangzhou, and then shortly after my youngest was born, we moved to Dongyang to open up a training center, an English training center there. And of course, when you start a new training center, you don't have a lot of students, and you still need to pay the bills. So, well, with an excess of free time, Dongyang is, well, I say it's a small town. It's a small town of about 1 million people, which in this part of China in particular, but in China in general, is a small town. So about 1 million people, only one KFC, no McDonald's, 3 Maseratis, but what are you going to do? Esteban said he was going to stream, but I don't see him streaming. I opened him up in a window. Nothing. Yeah, lots of money there. A lot of construction industry businesses centered or based out of there, and the construction industry is the only major industry in China these days, I think. But anyway, so it's very close to a place called Hengdian, which is where most of it's basically China's Hollywood. It's a shitty little dumpy town. Basically, it's the equivalent of like a Universal Studios backlot. It's all these sort of period sets and historical drama sets, and mostly historical drama and period sets, because that's most of what gets made in China for TV and movies. But yeah, I would go all day, 3-4 days a week. No, it is China's Hollywood. It really is. That's where Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was largely filmed. And they have some nice hotels and stuff there for the big names, but that's not where anyone that I worked with stayed. Horrible, dumpy little, nasty, dirty, filthy. No, it was not fun. It's work. And I was filming almost entirely in Chinese as well, and my Chinese isn't really up to that kind of a task. It certainly wasn't then. I might be able to make a go of it now, more so than I could then, but I'd still have to actually actively study the damn language properly, because I still can't read very well. Better tools now for like OCR translation and stuff, like Google Translate, and my little localized not online translation dictionary app works pretty good now, but we didn't have smartphones then even, really. So like 2010 wasn't common, and the tools weren't there. So basically I had to get my wife to go through my scripts and write them phonetically in pinyin above all the characters so I could memorize my lines. And then we'd show up to set and find out that the writers had been busy the night before and changed half of the scenes and rewritten a bunch of dialogue, and they expected me to try and learn. It was bad. And a lot of my acting, it was TV black and white. No, it wasn't that long ago. A lot of my acting suffered. I mean, I'm hardly a fantastic actor. I'm not, I'll never win any Academy Awards, but I'm competent. I can act. I used to tell people I can act or I can speak Chinese, but you can't have both. It's really hard acting in another language. And eventually I grew tired of the whole situation. The only roles available for foreigners in China, maybe it's changed now, I don't know, but I suspect not. The only roles available were the drunk foreigner, like the alcoholic foreigner, the stupid foreigner, the sex criminal foreigner, or some combination of the three. The stupid, drunk, sex criminal foreigner was the last role I played, and I was like, yeah, you know what? That's enough of that. That's definitely enough of that. And there's only really about 3 at any one time, 3, maybe 4, but usually 3 male foreign actors with significant speaking roles. And I know all of them because I worked with them, because you do. But it's just the 3 of them. And if there's a speaking role for a foreigner in a Chinese production, it's one of them 3. And there was one movie that took place in Beijing and involved a fairly large number of foreigners. And they basically just hired all the foreigners that hung out in the bars in that section of Beijing, plus those three guys. So, yeah. No, I was tired of the restrictive roles and the inability to do anything interesting with it. And the money was okay, but I could probably make more money tutoring. So, the most I got paid, and this was 10 years ago, so keep that in mind, was I think 3,000 yuan a day, so about $500 US. Little less than 500, but about that. So 500 a day is not bad, and that was I was in. Oh yeah, no, it's very much like that. The stereotypes are rife. You're not going to find a lot of variety or sensitive treatment of foreigners as individual people here. That's just not going to happen. That doesn't fit the narrative. There's an agenda. One of the main ways that the government here keeps a handle on the population is by reinforcing the idea of a strong national identity, which tends to involve, what's the word I want? What's the word I want? Vilifying anyone who's not Chinese in the media, really. Every 3 or 4 years that you get a revival of World War II movies that either make the Japanese look completely evil, which, I mean, to be fair, but or completely inept, which I've had students who would go on and on, especially in the midst of one of these, Oh, I see. Okay. Well, no, that was just the one movie that I'm aware of where they did that. Generally, it's like one or two foreigners, and that's all there are in the whole world, according to this TV show or this movie. Hey, Silent Author, 1942. We were just chatting about the Chinese film industry, such as it is. Yeah, we do meet again. They vilify expats, they vilify foreigners because it's a way of making Chinese people feel better about themselves, I guess. But I've had students who would go on and on about how stupid the Japanese were in World War II and how much they hate the Japanese, and they were all bumbling fools. And my response is just a not so subtle dig. Generally, it's, if they were so inept and so bumbling, how did they manage to take over most of China at one point? How did they have so much success here until other foreigners came in and kicked them out, But I try to avoid those kinds of topics just because they invite nothing but hurt feelings. In the classroom, anyway. And in the bar, occasionally, they encourage fistfights, which you don't want to see the inside of a Chinese holding cell. I'll tell you that much. Don't ask me how I know. I am Canadian. I don't shy away from confrontation, let's put it that way. And if someone puts hands on me, it's the last time they use their hands. Well, to be fair, I mean, there are some high-budget Chinese movies. They tend to overuse CGI these days, but 10 years ago, no, not much for CGI at that time either. That was sort of the old Spider-Man CGI with the really awkward floppy physics stuff. Oh, those are the kind of Chinese movies you're talking about. Sure they weren't Japanese? Seems more likely. Not an awful lot of Chinese pornography. The consequences of getting caught making such are pretty high. A bullet in the head, if I'm not mistaken, for major offenses. So it's probably Japanese or possibly Thai. Anyway, yeah, it was very limiting, very, yeah. In Chinese, we say chabuduo, which means difference not big. And it's used for almost everything here. Everything's chabuduo. Um, Chris brought it up, talking about Chinese movies, although they're probably not Chinese. Um, no, that's not the kind of TV or movies that I was in. The one I was talking about where they were paying me three K a day. It was a fairly major role actually. Um, it was in 10 out of 13 episodes of a TV show. This is the thing when talking about budgets, low budget Chinese productions, that's most of them. The way that the industry here works is bizarre. Like back in, Western country land, in the Western world, you film a pilot, possibly with the actors you intend to use in the regular run, but not necessarily. Recasting happens quite a bit. But you film a pilot, then you shop the pilot around to various production companies to, get someone who's willing to foot the bill to actually make the thing. You shop it around to the networks to find someone who's actually willing to air the thing. They buy it, and then you make it. Makes sense. So you invest a certain amount of money and time and whatever into putting together a reasonably not polished, but a reasonably competent pilot episode of something, just to show the concept and give people an idea of what it is. And you hope it gets picked up. And if it doesn't, you're out the budget for one episode of a show, plus a bit probably for setup costs and set building and stuff. Here, they scrape together funding from various sources. I mean, it helps that in China there's almost nowhere to invest your money. Real estate, that's about it. So they get investors to pony up, and then they film the whole thing. If it's a mini series, if it's a TV series, they'll film like a season, 2 seasons. If it's a mini series, they'll film what'll end up being like 10 to 15 hours of TV. Movie, they'll film the whole movie. I mean, not for the big budget ones. For big budget ones, they get, it's whatever. But for TV shows, they'll film a whole season of a TV show. They'll film a whole miniseries with no buyer, with no one willing to put it on the air. And then they'll hope to whatever gods they have that somebody pays for it in the end. But a lot of times they don't. So these companies, they're playing the odds basically. They'll film like 10 or 15 or 20 shows and sell like 3 of them. And those 3 will pay for the rest, plus some, hopefully, if they're lucky. Oh, hold on, excuse me for a moment. Wait. 我们在家里可以放在门口，可以送的，我们在家。好吧。Sorry, I've got a delivery coming. Oh, hold on, what was that? A message. See, when they phone me, that's not a problem. But then, that's just epidemic control stuff, right? I'm not going out anywhere today anyway. The delivery guys have been a bit leery about delivering stuff, especially to foreigners lately, because of the COVID situation. And we had a couple of cases in Hangzhou, but none of them with expats. All of them were Chinese people. But no, he's speaking Chinese. Yeah, there's been an uptick in anti-foreigner sentiment this last few months. All of the cases of COVID that have been detected in China. No, you're not streaming, dude. Not yet. No, we've been talking about the Chinese TV and film industry where I worked for a while 10 years ago. I've got your channel open in my other window, and you're not streaming yet, Esteban. You'll need to, did you entered your stream key in OBS Studio and connected it to everything and all that stuff? It's not too involved setting all that up, but you got to make sure you get all of the steps, otherwise things break. What was I saying? Oh yeah, all of the new cases of COVID in the last few months have been from outside China. They've traced them to people who've come back into China, and they've been reporting it as if it was, someone flew in from this country or from that country, and now there's COVID. And so, of course, everyone's freaking out and treating foreigners even worse than usual. What they haven't been reporting is that all of the people flying in from, flew in from France, flew in from wherever, they're all Chinese people returning home from those countries. But that's not how they're reporting it. They're very carefully making sure they say it in a way that's like, an individual flew in from France and was COVID positive. I know of one expat who tested positive after flying back into China in the last year. Actually, I've heard of one, and he quarantined. He quarantined in Hong Kong, then he quarantined again in the mainland when he arrived there. So he was like a month quarantined. He was tested repeatedly over that time and tested negative. Now, are you Esteban, are you using Streamlabs OBS or are you using OBS Studio? Oh, Twitch Studio. Twitch Studio. I've never used Twitch Studio. I don't. What is Twitch Studio? Oh, okay. So it's tied right in with Twitch. I see. Okay. Well, apparently meant to be not to be too. Yeah, I'm sure it all works out the same in the end. Either way, it's whichever one you end up learning how to use, and it's described as being designed to be easy to use. So I use OBS Studio, but I use OBS Studio because I also I film online courses, video based courses. Well, course so far, but I have others planned. And that lets me do screen capture and well, I mean, the setup you see here on the screen where I have a screen and I have my head and I can talk and do stuff. So now I wonder, yeah, that was the same. Pain in the ass. I ordered new air filters for our little air filter units, and they are arriving today. I ordered lots of stuff. Shh, don't tell my wife. Hold on a second. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah. So, oh, you've got a background and stuff now, Esteban. Cool. Um, yeah. So it turns out, normally when I buy stuff online, I buy it on Taobao, which is sort of the original back-end version that I think you guys would be familiar with, AliExpress or something. But basically, it's like Amazon. Okay. But I bought air filters for the air filter machines, and I bought them through the Xiaomi website directly, which I'd done before. What I didn't realize is that I hadn't changed my address. It was still set to the old apartment that very nice. It was still set to the old apartment that we sold like 3 years ago. So the delivery guy was confused about the fact that I wasn't there. Called me back again. Said, maybe the address is wrong. I'm like, well, maybe. I don't think so, but gave him my number. He's like, yeah, no, that's not where this is. I'm like, well, where are you? He told me. I was like, oh, okay. No, we don't live there anymore. I don't know what happened. So now my wife is on the phone with customer support trying to get them to change the address and figure out how to get these air filters to us. I'm not terribly excited about her having my phone right now because I ordered a bunch of stuff and I don't want her to know that I ordered it. And as she was waiting on the phone for the people to answer, I got a text message saying one of my things has been delivered to the property management office, which is where they tend to drop things, especially when they see a foreigner's name on it. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not sure who all is here at the moment. Let me see who all is here. I know Silent Author and Esteban, are you still in there? Yeah, there you are. And Chris. Oh, Will. Hi, Will. Candlelight Editing has joined the chat. Howdy, hi. You'll recall that I where am I was showing you my new mechanical keyboard, yeah? Well, I dove down that rabbit hole. Something that I might mention about myself is I take implements for writing very seriously. I'm a pen nut and a notepad and a paper nut and a stationery. I can't walk into a stationery store alone. I'll never come out. So, and I always kind of was careful. I'm always careful about that sort of thing because I can spend way too much money way too quickly on pens, cool pens, nice writing pens. If I get a nice gel ink that lays the ink down smooth and it, yeah, I love that. That's my thing. Well, mechanical keyboards, infinitely customizable typing experiences. And given that I do spend a fair bit of my time typing, not for a while now, but more recently, thanks to doing the stream and writing and stuff. And I intend to do a lot more. You know. Esteban, it says that you're streaming, but I don't see... Oh, there you are. Hi. There you go. Now I see you. I don't hear anything. I'm lagging a bunch though. I don't know if it's my end or yours. You have a window. Yeah, it's buffering. There's network error. Reload player. Okay. I can hear me on your stream. Uh, this is juggling a lot of things here. Can't hear you though. So you've got your desktop audio routed to Twitch Studio, but you don't have your microphone routed to Twitch Studio. So I don't know the program, but there should be some sort of an audio mixer somewhere to choose your audio sources and what's being sent out to your stream. Yeah. So I bought a bunch of stuff related to mechanical keyboards, and I will buy more. Yeah. Most of the stuff I bought isn't terribly expensive stuff, but oh, dropped an ear pod. Bought some switches, and I bought. Hello.
好的，
可以吗？
OK，啊，再见。
Oh, needed my thumbprint. Still figuring out how to get those air filters to us. Well, my connection seems to be pretty solid today. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get those air filters sent where they need to go. I did take the opportunity to make another cup of coffee while I was away, as one does. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to put Frank away for a month or so, maybe a bit longer. We'll see. But the thing I'm going to be working on is it's a set of 3 novellas, which is I don't know what the technical definition of a novella is, but somewhere around 20,000 words, I think. Bigger than a short story, smaller than a novel.
等会儿再看，我叫他get refund and
Oh,
we buy.
okay. 好吧。All right. Things are arriving. Okay, so that was a message from the guy, the Xiaomi guy that couldn't deliver to me. Okay. And hold on, I check my messages on stream while I'm supposed to be chatting with you guys, but it's rude of me. My apologies. I'm still gonna do it though. Yeah, air quality today is pretty bad. Uh-oh. Yeah, everyone's freaking out about the safety measures. 9322, what's that one? My wife's sister and her family are locked down in in their apartment for the next week because a schoolmate of my niece was somewhere where somebody tested positive. They're being that cautious, so I suppose it's for the best in the long run. Now, was that my tea? Yes, it was. I'm all over the place today again, like usual. I guess there's no surprises there. Earlier I was talking about my change in beverage strategy. I found a thing called rooibos tea, which is a South African shrub. The leaves of a South African shrub. It's non-caffeine. It's not tea, but they make a tea out of it. And there's no caffeine, and it tastes pretty good. I like it. So that'll be my regular go-to beverage. It's also chock full of antioxidants and all sorts of other things. It's supposed to be very good for you. Whatever. So that's my new Apres coffee beverage of choice for the foreseeable future. I just ordered a kilo of it, so it should last me for a long time. What else were we talking about? Oh yeah, mechanical keyboards. The only thing, because it's a fairly expensive hobby, or it can become a very expensive hobby. Oh, the Novellus, yes, we're all over. So, finish talking about the keyboards while I can. This keyboard, I don't like it very much. It wasn't terribly expensive. It was under $100, I think. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was under $100, but I don't care for the switches very much, and I find it's a bit too. I've been watching lots of YouTube videos about mechanical keyboards and stuff, and the most popular format is like either a 10 keyless or a 60%, and I don't want a 60%. I don't want to lose my arrow keys and my function row and all that stuff. I use my arrow keys quite a lot to navigate around in a document, so I don't want to lose those, and I don't want them all crowded and cramped in on the side. So a 10 keyless is what would be perfect for me. This numpad, I have a full-size keyboard right now, and the numpad makes it too long, and then my trackball is too far over, and it's like So I'm planning to move to a 10 keyless and possibly get a mechanical numpad, something like this one but better, in case I do need to do some data entry, because I do data entry sometimes. Once, not that often, but when I do it, I do a lot of it. So I picked out the Keychron C1 with RGB and all that stuff. It's got hot swappable switches, so I can just pull the switches out easily and change them if I want. And I do want. I've discovered the existence of a particular keyboard switch that has a nice springy recoil when you get close to bottoming out. So, yeah, I've ordered some oil to lubricate the switches with, and some tools to open them and open them safely without breaking them or damaging them. And what else did I order? Basically a bunch of tools and stuff for which to operate upon my keyboard. This keyboard I actually opened up the other day, and I stuffed the innards with foam. Oh, I ordered some foam too. Stuffed the innards with foam to kind of deaden the hollow twacky sounds it was making that I didn't like. My goal is to make the quietest keyboard I can. I know that some people like to hear the... Oh, I was trying to do that without actually typing. Some people like... There's no V in keyboard. Some people like the sound of the keys on the keyboard, but I find it too clicky for me personally. And I don't know. Maybe I'll get a recording, a loop of recording of like keyboard clackies, and play that quietly in the background as I'm typing when I'm doing some writing. Just for those of you who like that. So yeah, that's what's coming. I've got like 10 or 11 small little orders on the way. And then there's a big pretty much every month there's a big sale on. Usually it's on the when the number of the date, the day matches the month. So like it's December, so it's 12/12, right? December 12th, there's a big sale. 11/11 was a big sale. 8/8 is always a big sale. So the keyboard that I'm planning to get goes on discount Sunday evening at midnight. So I'm waiting till then to order that, but everything else is on the way. Should be here today and tomorrow. Hooray. The novellas. Okay. So it's a set of 3 parallel novellas. So they occupy the same general space and time, different characters experiencing things and intersecting each other, I think, a bit. I'm going to have to do some of that, otherwise there's no point. There's a few situations where I know they intersect. I'm gonna have to try and subtly work that in somehow, a bit more than I initially thought, just so that it feels like a real world. The setup for that, if you're interested, the setup for that is okay. So it's a science fiction story. I'll call it a story. It's one story in 3 separate pieces, basically. But the story is science fiction, and the setup is that we have cured aging. We've solved the puzzle of aging. There is no further need to die of old age. We can keep the body running indefinitely. So, I mean, people will still die of, disease, although fewer diseases, and accident, that sort of thing. Death is still possible, obviously, but much, much less common, and it's certainly not inevitable anymore. Reasonably, within the story world, it's reasonable to live for, well, I'm saying indefinitely, but 1,000 years for sure, no problem, with no reduced quality of life, none of those old age complaints, no stiff joints or arthritis or early onset dementia or any of those things, none of those aging diseases. And the story is going to explore sort of how that development is likely to affect people, different types of people in particular. So each of the 3 parts will follow a different character. We've got the scientist who develops this technology, this cure for aging, who represents the intellectual worker, the person. I think either you mentioned or someone else mentioned it when we were talking about silent authors' time travel. Frank's going away for a month. I've got a deadline crunch with this. I'm taking a course with a professor of creative writing at Athabasca University. So I will do. Google it for real. Will do on it. Dmitry Gulkovsky. A Shakespearean drama set in the far future. Oh. I don't want to know about other people writing the same kind of thing I'm writing. Not before I write it. Come on. Don't send me there. No, we did not say time travel. We were talking about the time travel conversation from 2 days ago. I will. So okay. So I know what future is now. I will read it after I'm done writing my story, and not before. Yeah. So the scientist who developed the technology represents the technocracy in a way, the intellectual person, the person who lives a life of ideas. and for him or her, I haven't decided yet, but for that person, this breakthrough is wonderful. It's a blessing. The prospect of eternal life, or potentially eternal life, certainly vastly extended life, is a wonderful idea. All the time in the world to explore things and learn things and do things and create things and all that. There's the second character is a menial laborer, a warehouse worker, construction worker. And for him, the idea of eternal life basically means never-ending toil. For him, work is just something he does to pay the bills. Well, this is what I plan to explore within the story, the different perspectives on the topic. So for him, I mean, he's this guy. He's just lost his wife. He doesn't really have much to live for anyway, and so for him, the prospect of eternal life is a terrible one. And then the third is a young, very religious person who is struggling with the friction between what seems to be an objective good, keeping people healthy and letting them live longer and all that, and the conflict between that and the idea that death is God's will, and the span of years is what it should be, and divine will, and all of those things. So he's got conflict between sort of his religious society, his circle, and his own beliefs and teachings, the teachings he's received from his religious education, and his moral sense, which is that stopping people from dying horribly of old age is probably a good thing. So he's got that conflict that he's wrestling with. And I mean, for me, it's going to be tricky, especially that third character, because I am very much not a religious person. I sometimes refer to myself as an evangelical atheist, spreading the good word. Occasionally, jokingly, I say I'm not an atheist. I just have a personal relationship with reality. I don't actually. I'm not quite so sarcastic and snarky about religion, but I'm certainly not a believer. And so it's the tricky bit for me is to write that third character sympathetically, and not caricature him into something that's unflattering and not compelling. So from a writing perspective, that's gonna be the biggest challenge, I suspect. Yeah. So I mean, that's what I will be working on for the next month or so. And I don't think I can do that and work on Frank's story at the same time. I don't think that's going to work. The tone and the stories are just too different. Very different. Kind of bothers me because I'm just now getting, I'm going to adjust my microphone. Pardon the noise. I'm just now getting into Frank's point of view, Frank's voice a little bit, and now I'm going to have to wander off. So, bad planning on my part, I guess. Frank will be back. Don't worry there, silent author. Frank will be back. He's not going anywhere. Just stepping to the side briefly while I work on something else. So, actually, my plan for later today is to sit down and plot out those 3 novellas, figure out my beats, figure out my main plot elements, and put together some sort of a schedule so that this person I'm working with can have an idea of when to expect things from me and when I would like to get some feedback and all that stuff. So Well, where? Oh, I see. Esteban is offline, but okay. So Esteban's offline. This is just a replay of what was going on, or what? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna close that then for now. Are you live? Oh, you are live, but it's not showing up in my live. It should offline. Oh, I'll close it anyway. I'm noticing some yellow and red in my square of doom, my colored square of doom. So, yeah, that's the story I'll be working on for the next month or two. If I'm honest, if I'm totally and completely honest, it doesn't interest me quite as much as Frank does at the moment, but I've committed to doing it. So, and it'll be challenging, and it does interest me. Just once I get into it, maybe it'll be more. I got to come up with some characters, figure out who they are, and flesh them out a bit. So I've got a bit of audio editing to do this afternoon for one of my clients. A couple of YouTube videos that I recorded yesterday, but I haven't edited yet. So I edit those. And what else is on the list? Oh, there we go. Ah, yeah, that. So yeah, I got those two things to edit. I've got a bunch of stuff to sort of plan and figure out for the sci-fi story, the novellas, and a couple of other projects that I've been sort of side railing for the last little while, working on other things every day. I don't know if I should even mention that because I haven't done it yet. I'm still in process. I have a plan. Yeah, broad strokes, I suppose, is fine. I have a plan to do a series of nonfiction books. I'm calling them. The name of my company is Ophania, and I'm calling them the Ophania Book Club Companions. So the idea is that I grab whatever books look interesting to me and are also selling well on the Amazon Kindle list in particular, and I buy them and I read them, and then I put together a quick little, but not quick and not little, but sort of, I'm thinking of it as sort of easily accessible literary analysis. So I mean, I'm not gonna make it terribly scholarly. I won't be citing sources or putting together a annotated bibliography or any of that, and I won't be getting too technical with a lot of it. But the idea is to provide a resource for people who have a book club, for example, and maybe aren't sure what to talk about, or aren't sure how to talk about, or aren't sure what they're looking for in the book, who want to get into a more sort of not analytical in the dry scientific sense, but like talking about themes, or pointing out that this author in this book used that phrase quite a lot, and it was on purpose, and this is probably on purpose, and this is probably why. I mean, you can never be certain with literary analysis, right? But identifying some themes, identifying some interesting perspectives or ideas. Something wrong with my internet? Shouldn't be. Oh, I did drop a lot of frames there. Let me, well, you know what? I bet you it's because I was trying to also watch Esteban's stream while my stream was going. So it's not dropping any now. Well, it is dropping a few. Huh. Why don't I try this? I'm going to try Okay. So I've just switched servers. My my internet's been nasty lately, but in very specific ways. There's been a bit of a crackdown on VPNs lately, and I think they're taking steps to try and make them not work very well, which has resulted in my VPN cutting out a lot and things just sort of appearing to work but not really working and stuff like that. So I've had to server hop, I've had to switch protocols, I've had to change my MTU size, and if I was less technically apt, I think I might have just given up and said to hell with it. I give up on the rest of the world, but not gonna do it. Did my nasty catch a cold? Or did I catch a nasty cold? Why, is my voice terrible? Or you mean my internet? Yeah. My internet's being attacked. Or my VPN is being attacked. So. Laughing emoji. No, it's being attacked by the government, though. Crying emoji. So. Yeah. I was telling you briefly about the Ophania Book Club companions. Basically, the idea is to give a little helping hand to anyone who wants to talk about books that are selling well. I mean, specifically books that are selling well, because I want my book to benefit from the discoverability of the book that I'm writing about. So, each one will have a sort of a very, very cursory summary of what happens along the book, with spoilers. Oh yeah, now this one's doing the same thing. It's just dropping out every so often. Hold on. Now I assume my internet was fine for the first little while, yeah? Still dropping lots of frames though. Huh. No. Yeah, why is it dropping so many frames? That's just weird. Really weird, like 4%, 5% frame drop rate due to network. Oh, okay. 8% now. So, yeah, it's cutting out and cutting back in, cutting out, cutting back in. This is my guess. I have no way of knowing or deciding or finding out if this is accurate or not, but my guess is that measures are being taken against the VPN, and the VPN is taking countermeasures against the measures. And so it's like reconnecting itself and internally switching servers and doing some funky stuff just to keep operational. I suspect that's what's going on. Yeah, no, not much I can do about it, unfortunately. I think maybe I should take that as a sign to sign off the stream for today. Yeah. I got a lot of other stuff to do, and I'm not getting writing done here anyway, so I haven't. Okay, so for Frank's story, very briefly, before I take my leave, so I've got I sort of figured out Frank talking to the door guy and then getting picked up by these two dudes, the two bouncer guys, and hauled in to talk to Ms. Rose. Scarlet Rose. What a stupid name. I know better than that. Come on. I might just come up with a better name in my second version. I'm trying to decide now, do I actually depict the scene where they talk to each other, or do I summarize, like skip that scene and summarize after the fact what the result was? I feel like this section is just too linear. Oh. No, it's not the rose part that's the problem, Silent Author. It's the Scarlet Rose as a name, as a whole name. It's a bit cheesy. Scarlet Rose. I mean, it's obviously an alias. It's obviously a name she's taken on as part of her business, her work as a drug distributor, as a mid-level boss in a crime syndicate of some sort. But because she's a redhead, I don't know. Anyway, I'll think about it, what I want to do with that. The issue Blueberry, come on. Well, that's really weird. I'm going to reload the chat. So that Blueberry thing didn't show up in my chat window in OBS, but it did show up on the stream. Yeah, internet issues, I guess. So, we got 2 people in the chat and 4 people on... 2 people in the chat, 4 people listing as viewers. Hello, new viewers. Say hi in the chat. Orange. Well, color rhymes with orange. Yeah. Okay, so I'm finding it too linear. Like it's too much Frank in a row for me, right? Like he's wandering the streets. He's talking to Skiv. He's talking to the bouncer. He's talking to Rose. It's just too much talk. Nothing's happening. It's just talking. So maybe, do I want to switch point of view? Have some cutscenes of some sort where other things are happening that Frank doesn't know about? I talk about story in cinematic terms a lot, by the way. Cutscenes and fade to blacks and things like that. I think in terms of camera angles as well when I'm writing. What are we seeing when I'm describing a scene? I think I build a sort of a camera angle. I build a view in my head, and that's what I write from. Oh, it's fine. It's working, sort of, I guess. Look, we can still chat, and we still have the Discord server. For the 2 other viewers who are not in the chat, the Discord server is listed in the chat on the stream there. Feel free to join us over there, where the talking goes on and on and on all the time. Hey, Esteban signed up. Cool. And Tudor is there saying hi. Wave hello to Esteban. So the the Discord server is there for us to talk about writing and books and reading and stories and stuff all the time, not just when I'm live. I'm hoping to build a really solid, welcoming, friendly community there, like we have here on the stream. Supportive and joyful and all those things. Yeah. So with the Frank thing, I'm really now I need to figure out if I want to have cutscenes to break up the monotony. It's feeling a bit monotonous to me, just sort of too much of the same thing. Talking and talking and chatting and chatting. That's basically all I do on the stream, right? So all we do is chat and visit. That's fine. I know it's supposed to be a writing stream, but I do get some writing done sometimes. I make some decisions anyway. And now that I'm caught up a bit on my backlog of work that I got behind on because of the entry-exit bureau stuff and the sick kid, the decisions and thinking about the story that I make here on the stream, if I do some writing later in the day, that'll bear fruit, produce dividends, some other metaphor. If in those extra viewers in my Twitch stats panel aren't actually in the chat and aren't actually following, feel free to follow. By the way, make sure that you get notified when I go live and we can chat in real time on here. And if you follow, up in that corner over there, it'll splash your name and make a dingly sound. Set that up the other day. But yeah, if I were to put cutscenes in here, I'm not sure what I would put. And that's something I'm going to have to figure out too. I really have no idea what I would put in there. I mean, I did something like that when he's having his... Where is it? Is it... oh, this one. Yeah. The italicized stuff is things happening elsewhere that he's sort of seeing a little bit, though. So everything's really been tightly tied to his point of view so far. Well, now we're back down to 2 viewers. Those other 2 people left. Everything's been fairly tightly tied to his point of view. So if I do have cutscenes, it's going to have to be mysterious-y. Like I can't be clear about what or who is going on. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to think about that. And structural issues this far in. I shouldn't be having structural issues this far in. All right, you know what? I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna grab a bite to eat. I've got this bowl of radish sticks. These are neat little red radishes, and I've got some white daikon radish. And I ate all my celery already. This is my go-to snack of choice. That or popcorn. I'm a big popcorn fan. But I don't eat it with butter and stuff on it. I have a little spritzer to mist some vegetable oil on it, and then salt and dill is one of my favorites. Little dill pickly flavor, or taco seasoning, which is another favorite, and a little misting of oil just so it sticks to the popcorn better. My healthy snacks. I'm trying to stay slimmer than I might otherwise be. But yeah, radishes, carrots, celery, lovely things. Get a little bowl of bit of salt in it and pepper. Dip those. Yum, yum. Okay, I'm going to have to do some thinking about this, how I want to do this. Actually, what I should do, I should just read through what I've got so far and see if it reads as monotonous as I think it does at the moment. I might just need to add some more internal monologue for Frank and add a bit more character to it. You know what? That's probably going to be the best solution for that. I don't want to reveal anything else. There. Okay. So notes to myself for later. Yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it a day. So I'll do the end of stream thing. Okay, so if you're watching on VOD, thanks for watching. Subscribe wherever the subscribe button is so that you, or follow, I guess it's called follow. Follow on the follow button so you know when I go live and you can join the chat and all that stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, all the clicky stuff is down there. You know what to do down there. Thanks for joining me. And Chris and Silent Author, thanks for joining. And Esteban and Will was here for a while. And yeah, always nice to see you guys. If you're not on the Discord, hop in the Discord. We've only got 6 or 7 people at the moment. Hopefully that'll grow, but I'm not in a hurry to grow it just for numbers. I only want people on. This is quickly becoming silly. Yeah, that if you're a story nerd, if you like stories, if you like talking about stories, if you like reading and hanging out with other people who like reading, if you're a writer, I'm a writer, and a lot of the people that follow me on Twitch here are writers, and we talk about writing a fair bit, but that's not all the Discord server is about. So if you're not a writer, but you like stories and reading, then yeah, it's right up your alley. It's exactly what you want. And it gives you an opportunity to talk with writers about stories from a reader's perspective. I mean, I picture it in my head. I envision it as a space where writers and readers can get together and talk about stories from their own perspectives. As I mentioned, trying to set up a book club on there. I don't know how common Discord-based book clubs are, but we'll give it a shot, see how it works. Yeah, so if you're interested in stories and in talking about stories with other people who like talking about stories, hop on the Discord. Link is in the description and all that stuff. Yeah, and with that, thanks for joining me. Sorry about the network issues, and I guess I'll see you Monday. Bye for now. Oh, bye for now.
嗯